Episode 56L, November 9, 2023. 400 UG/M3 PM2.5 and lower. And headaches, eye irritation, heart attacks and hospitalizations. In this episode 1, a history of evolving particulate matter, air quality, PM, standards. 2, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce fears economic effects of new PM2.5 standards. 3, Arkansas's Pulaski County prohibits some open burning. 4, Harvard says it's time for companies to monitor workplace PM2.5 air quality. 5. Steubenville, Ohio has a PM2.5 air quality problem from wildfires. 6. Tennessee is battling 14 wildfires. 7. Roanoke, Virginia has a PM2.5 air quality problem from wildfires. 8. In Canada's Prince Edward Island province, a controlled burn is causing air quality issues discussed by the government. 9. In the United Kingdom, in Richmond, residents with wood-burning stoves are encouraged not to burn this winter. 10. In India, an author examines how London and Paris handled their PM2.5 problem. 11. In Pakistan, thousands are sickened from PM2.5 pollution which closes schools. And 12. He Good Men Project reports that PM2.5 from wildfire smoke stays in floors and walls of houses as well as headlines. From 13. Levittown, New York. 14. Eugene, Oregon, and 15. Pune, India. United States. Evolving Air Quality Standards, Legal Planet excerpts edited by Roanoke for brevity and clarity and relationship to Residents Against Wood Smoke Emission Particulates, a 501c3 nonprofit organization. They were actually measuring something different, total particulates in 1971, PM10 in 1987. By 1997 measuring fine particles, PM2.5, had gotten, November 9, 2023. Evolving air quality standards. The standards have gotten tougher. Compliance still lags. The goal of the Clean Air Act is to achieve National Ambient Air Quality Standards, NOx, with the primary requirement being protection of public health. As our understanding of the health effects of air pollution has improved, there has been a general trend toward tightening the standards. However, it's very hard to keep track of how the standards have actually evolved. With that in mind, I've put together some brief timelines. I am focusing on what are called the primary standards, which are health-based, and on two key pollutants, particulates and ozone, which have the greatest current importance. Particulates, soot, particulate standards, basically soot, are measured in micrograms per cubic meter, μg/m superscript 3. The annual standard, basically the worst day of the year, has gone from 260 μg/m superscript 3 in 1971, down to 150 μg/m superscript 3 in 1987, 65 μg/m superscript 3 in 2006, and 12 μg/m superscript 3 in 2012, where they have stayed ever since. The standards have clearly gotten tighter, but it's hard to be sure how much. The first two entries on this list aren't readily comparable with the later ones. They were actually measuring something different, total particulates in 1971, PM10 in 1987. By 1997 measuring fine particles, PM2.5, had gotten easier, and it was also clear that they posed the greatest health hazard. Under the Clean Air Act, these standards are driven entirely by scientific evidence about public health. Issuing the standard triggers a complex process that is supposed to ultimately bring states into compliance with the requirements. At present, of counties across the country, 26 still are out of compliance with the 1987 PM10 standard. Air quality in all of these places has improved due to compliance efforts, but they still aren't there yet. The Biden administration is now considering tightening the standards. This will have the most immediate impact in areas that now meet the earlier standards. They will also put additional pressure on areas that are still struggling to meet the existing standards and will eventually result in cleaner areas in those areas as well. United States Chamber of Commerce. Chamber predicts permitting gridlock with strict SIP proposal. Bloomberg Law News PM 2.5 proposal effects. Authors fear strain on small businesses, industry. Excerpts edited by Roanoke for brevity and clarity and relationship to Residents Against Wood Smoke Emission Particulates, a 501c3 nonprofit organization. A proposed rule governing emissions of particulate matter completely. Smoke rises during the Highland Fire in Owaga, California. November 8, 2023. Chamber predicts permitting gridlock with strict SIP proposal. 1. U.S. Chamber releases report on PM 2.5 proposal effects. Authors fear strain on small businesses, industry. A proposed rule governing emissions of particulate matter completely overlooks wildfire emissions and threatens to throw swaths of the U.S. out of compliance with air laws, according to a report issued Thursday. The report, released by the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, outlines how the Environmental Protection Agency rulemaking will cause permitting gridlock across our economy. The Chamber analysis reveals that the EPA ignored the 2023 wildfires in its proposed rule, as this season's wildfires alone would increase the number of counties impacted by 50%, consequently imposing strict new penalties on American businesses, large and small, and their communities, according to the report. Arkansas, Pulaski County. Update: officials warn against burning Pulaski, PC Patriot. This prohibition includes the burning of any wood, brush, logs, leaves, grass, debris, or other inflammable material. The ban does not include the local state of emergency orders that it is unlawful for any person to light or maintain any fire in the open air on any land, public or private, located within Pulaski County. This prohibition includes the burning of any wood, brush, logs, leaves, grass, debris, or other inflammable material. Massachusetts, Boston, Harvard University. It's time for companies to monitor workplace air quality. Harvard Business Review. PM2.5. One of the main components in outdoor air pollution is PM2.5, which stands for particulate matter 2.5 microns and smaller. It's time for companies to monitor workplace air quality. November 9, 2023. Summary. Organizations that aren't yet thinking about how to implement real-time air quality monitoring in their buildings should do so soon. First, because any employee or customer can now collect rudimentary data in real time. Second, because corporate air sensor, more. Excerpts edited by Rozep for brevity and clarity in relationship to Residents Against Wood Smoke Emission Particulates, a 501c3 nonprofit organization. When the Canadian wildfire smoke hit New York City in June, I got a call from a senior executive with a pressing question: was the air inside their company's building safe for employees to breathe? I could confidently answer yes, thanks to the indoor air quality sensor system I'd helped them deploy several months before. According to the real-time data, particle levels were below the health-based limits even as outdoor levels surged to more than 400 Ug/M3, levels that we know is associated with not only headaches and eye irritation but also heart attacks and hospitalizations. A similar thing happened just the other week when a fellow professor at the Harvard School of Public Health pinged me with concerns about airflow and COVID-19 risk in their classroom. Because we'd installed similar air quality sensors, I was able to quickly see and share that the space exceeded the ventilation targets we had set for COVID. We've now rolled out similar sensor networks at Harvard Business School and in the Harvard University health clinics. The movement toward real-time air quality monitoring is growing. Both Denver's and Boston's public school systems have put these types of sensors in classrooms and make the data publicly available, so parents and caregivers can, for the first time ever, evaluate the air their kids are breathing. New York City is considering a similar plan for schools and government buildings. Amazon just rolled out a real-time air quality monitoring network across its entire global commercial office portfolio. Disclosure: I advised on this project, too, and my company performs ongoing analytics. Organizations that aren't yet thinking about how to implement real-time health monitoring in their buildings should do so soon for a variety of reasons. First, because the proliferation of lower-cost sensors represents both a paradigm and a power shift. The days of a company hiring someone like me, a certified industrial hygienist, to test a building with a $5,000 scientific instrument over the course of a day and then write up a report are waning. Now any employee or customer can collect rudimentary air quality data in real time with a portable, handheld sensor that costs about $150. People are taking these sensors into their offices, favorite coffee shops, airplanes, and everywhere else, and often sharing the results on social media, sometimes publicly shaming owners of venues where the readings are bad. This is a transformational change. Beyond not getting caught off guard, companies that deploy their own air sensor networks will find that they offer timely, actionable information in moments of crisis, as in the wildfire and COVID-19 uptick examples. They can also help identify areas of the building where air quality isn't dangerous but is still below the level at which research confirms there are productivity benefits. And sensors are a way to ensure buildings can be both energy efficient and protective of employee health. Outlining the benefits: worker health, safety, and presence. Better air in buildings is associated with less sickness and fewer missed workdays. We know that viruses like SARS-CoV-2, influenza, and RSV are transmitted through the air, and super-spreading events tend to occur indoors where there is poor ventilation and filtration. Some workers cite this as a reason for not wanting to return to the office. In the past, humans were the censor, and companies would only know there was a problem when there were complaints, or, worse, people got sick. Now you can find issues before they become big issues and take corrective action. Worker productivity. I've written in HBR several times about the scientifically proven link between better indoor air quality and higher-order cognitive function across domains such as strategic decision-making, how people seek out and utilize information, and how they respond to crises in a work environment. In short, the air your employees breathe impacts how they perform, and the only way to know if you're in the optimal range is to measure it. Optimizing health and climate goals. Air quality sensors can also be a secret sustainability tool. Buildings account for 40% of global greenhouse gas emissions, in some cities it's 70%. As wrote in HBR in January, you could save a lot of energy by closing the dampers and limiting how much outdoor air comes in, but that makes for stale, germ-laced indoor air. Let's talk about what's involved. The sensors are small devices that hang on a wall, much like a thermostat, and measure a handful of key indicators of overall air quality in the space. The data feed into the cloud and can be accessed on a dashboard or integrated into existing building management systems. Nearly all the air quality systems on the market, including lower-cost ones, measure the same handful of indicators, including PM2.5. One of the main components in outdoor air pollution is PM2.5, which stands for Particulate Matter 2.5 microns and smaller, that is, airborne dust so tiny it can travel to the deepest part of your lungs. It's associated with bad health outcomes, including heart and asthma attacks, poor mental health, higher likelihood of anxiety and depression, and the risk of hospitalization even after short-term acute exposures, such as during a wildfire. PM2.5 levels should be low indoors, which can be achieved through filtration, using the same MERV 13 filters that were recommended to help with COVID. How many sensors you need? I've seen recommendations from 1 sensor per 50,000 square feet to 1 per 500 square feet. Modeling I've done with colleagues, designed to account for how gases and particles flow in time and space, found that about 1 sensor per 2,000 to 3,000 square feet is about right. Amazon is using an algorithm my company developed called HEAL, which stands for Health Optimized, Excellent, Action, Alert, Limit. When a measure of air quality is at action level, it's not immediately dangerous and should be looked at by facilities within the month. 2 things aren't going away. COVID has led to a now universal awareness about the importance of indoor air quality, and these new low-cost, small air quality sensors are proliferating quickly. Massachusetts, Boston. Why gas-powered leaf blowers are getting banned in Greater Boston, GBH, WGBH PM 2.5, equivalent to the emissions of more than 5.3 million cars. Excerpts edited by Rozep for brevity and clarity and relationship to Residents Against Wood Smoke Emission Particulates, a 501c3 nonprofit organization. According to the EPA, emissions from leaf blowers contribute to ozone air. The rise of remote work has been fueling efforts to ban or just limit the use of gas-powered leaf blowers in communities across Greater Boston. And while noise is the key motivator for leaf blower complaints, concerns about health, climate change and equity for workers have surfaced, too. New York, Levittown. Burning of wood scraps causes shed fire. LevittownNow.com fire crews were dispatched at 12:21 p.m. Wednesday for a report of wires burning in the backyard of a home on Oak Tree Drive in Bristol Township, Ohio. Steubenville. Paved with soap, farm and dairy particulates of wood ash left a fine dusting on just about every. As this ash particulate lay dormant when the rain moved in on Sunday the 11th. Paved with soap. November 9, 2023. Canadian wildfires created hazy conditions in Ohio. Excerpts edited by Rozep for brevity and clarity and relationship to Residents Against Wood Smoke Emission Particulates, a 501c3 nonprofit organization. During the week of June 5 to 11th, you might remember looking outside and observing how hazy the sky appeared, or perhaps experiencing the heavy feeling in your chest as you walked outside and took a breath of not-so-fresh air. Smoke and ash from the devastating Canadian wildfires traveled south, affecting air quality for much of the mid-Atlantic, northeastern United States and Great Lakes territory. Throughout this region, EPA air quality monitoring indicated levels to be in the moderate to unhealthy category at times. Particulates of wood ash left a fine dusting on just about every surface, creating a nuisance more than anything. This is where things start to get interesting. As this ash particulate lay dormant. When the rain moved in on Sunday the 11th, a chemical reaction occurred, and lye was created as rain mixed with the dusting of ash. The concentration of lye was weak, but when mixed with the oils found on the roadways, it was just enough in some areas to create a crude soap. A simple but effective recipe for detergent, and even used throughout the course of history. Wood ash and water are about as simple as it gets for making soap, just add grease or oil to create the suds. This article was written by the Stormwater Resources Coordinator at Jefferson SWCD, located in Steubenville, Ohio. Oregon, Eugene. Weather status: Eugene Daily News Homewood Heating Advisory, Eugene Springfield, yellow caution is, pellet stoves can be used anytime since they don't produce the particulate smoke. Tennessee. 34 wildfires battled on Tuesday in Tennessee, 350 acres burned, WSMV on Wednesday, a burning. Virginia, Roanoke. Local wildfires elevate air quality levels across our hometowns. WDBJ excerpts edited by Rozep for brevity and clarity and relationship to Residents Against Wood Smoke Emission Particulates, a 501c3 nonprofit organization. The primary pollutant. Roanoke, Virginia, WDBJ, fall fire season. Localized wildfires across the southeastern U.S. are drawing smoke into our region. Air quality reached code orange Wednesday afternoon, which is considered unhealthy for sensitive groups. The primary pollutant is particulate matter, PM2.5, which are small, inhalable particles. Anytime air quality levels reach 101 to 150, sensitive groups should avoid strenuous outdoor activity. Sensitive groups include people with heart disease, asthma, older adults, children, and teenagers. If you are outdoors and notice shortness of breath or unusual fatigue, contact your healthcare provider. Canada, Prince Edward Island Province. In the wake of Hurricane Fiona, a controlled debris burn causes fearful air pollution. Backbench MLA flags fears about smoke from controlled burn of Fiona debris. CBC News excerpts edited by Rozep for brevity and clarity and relationship to Residents Against Wood Smoke Emission Particulates, a 501c3 nonprofit organization. Myers said any environmental policy shouldn't evacuate schools, and that the leftover burnt wood called biochar will be used in farmers' fields. Backbench MLA flags fears about smoke from controlled burn of Fiona debris. Company was contracted to dispose of brush by burning it at site in Borden-Carleton. November 9, 2023. A politician says he heard a number of complaints from people in Borden-Carleton who were concerned about smoke caused by a controlled burn of Fiona debris at the old fabrication yard. A progressive conservative backbencher says he's concerned about how the province is disposing of debris from post-tropical storm Fiona at a site in Borden-Carleton. Government workers tabled photos showing the plumes of smoke coming from the fabrication yard in Borden-Carleton, where the provincial government has hired a company to burn the debris. Fox said the controlled burn was worrying people in the area, adding that it was environmentally unfriendly, had forced a business to close because of air quality, and was creating concerns among staff at a local school. This provincial government hired a company from away to burn over 20,000 cubic meters of Fiona waste located at the Borden yard alone, which is emitting unbelievable amounts of greenhouse gases, Fox said. Satellite images tell the tale of where Fiona took biggest toll on PEI forests. Thousands of trees planted as project aims to make PEI National Park more resilient to storms like Fiona. Fox directed his questions to the Minister of Environment, Energy and Climate Action. The minister said any environmental policy shouldn't evacuate schools, and that the leftover burnt wood called biochar will be used in farmers' fields to increase nutrients in the soil and reduce farmers' use of nitrogen in fields. Transportation and Infrastructure Minister Ernie Hudson told CBC News that when he was made aware of the concerns involving smoke from the burned site, the contractor doing the work was contacted right away. Fiona tree debris not picked up yet? Here's what island crews are doing. Fiona storm debris sites on PEI will be closing as of October 31. Hudson said an unexpected change in wind direction while the burn was underway meant control equipment the contractor was using had been turned off, so smoke traveled toward the community. He said the problem was addressed and resolved quickly. We were made aware of the occurrence, of what took place, and we will be monitoring it, he said. United Kingdom, Richmond. Is your warm, cozy fire doing more harm than you think? Richmond Council. Richmond Council. Residents with real coal fires or wood-burning appliances are encouraged not to burn this winter to help reduce dangerous air pollution in the India. How did London, Paris, Los Angeles and Beijing handle their PM 2.5 problem? Hindustan Times. PM 2.5 problem? Air we breathe. How did London, Paris, Los Angeles and Beijing handle their PM 2.5 problem? Excerpts edited by Roanoke for brevity and clarity in relationship to Residents Against Wood Smoke Emission Particulates, a 501c3 nonprofit organization. As the National Capital Region's air quality levels plummeted to emergency levels, New Delhi was busy hosting a Cricket World Cup match this week in a packed stadium. Players and officials from several teams had voiced their concerns about air pollution and ICC's air quality guidelines which had been breached. None of this stopped play in the city. Even as tens of thousands of people die prematurely in the city every year due to air pollution, life goes on for its residents. View of the central business district shot through a glass window during a dust storm in Beijing. Far away in Beijing, once the global capital of air pollution, the skies are clear and PM 2.5 levels are less than one-fifth of Delhi's. The story is similar in other erstwhile polluted metropolises, Paris, London, and Los Angeles. Despite their differences and unique conditions, cities that have successfully dealt with the problem provide a useful template to consider. Here's what they got right. Firstly, in these cities, the need to address air pollution found resonance among people. It is vital to increase capacity and capabilities to monitor, track and implement measures. Improved funding of scientific bodies can go a long way in real-time information gathering. Most Indian cities don't have studies that reveal the sources of air pollution or have sporadically conducted ones, as is the case with Delhi. This will need to change. Initiatives such as Delhi's real-time source apportionment system can help provide much-needed data but will need to quickly get off the ground and be replicated in other cities. Such investments should be strongly preferred over smog towers that are proven to be ineffective. For instance, pollutants were barely 14% lower when measured 100 feet away from the smog tower in Connaught Place in Delhi, which would have no measurable health benefits to passers-by. Thirdly, countries adopted cohesive policies. Fourthly, cities such as Paris have been successfully addressing the air pollution issue by adopting people-centric approaches to city design, focusing on walkable and cyclable cities, dense public transport, and accessible public infrastructure. Finally, cities that successfully reduced air pollution did not rely on band-aid solutions like watering streets using fire trucks. There is an urgent need for structural change in agricultural, stubble burning, practices, particularly for its outsized role in the winters. Not only is Delhi's smog crisis an annually recurring one, poor air quality itself is a perennial issue. India, Pune. Light drizzle brings down air pollution in Pune. Hindustan Times. Pune city's air quality improved a bit with the PM 2.5 level dropping significantly in the city due to light rainfall. Roanoke view. Farmers' crop burning contributed to the air pollution in Pakistan that sickened thousands. Pakistan, Lahore. Thick smog shuts down Pakistan's Lahore, sickens tens of thousands. Al Jazeera. Excerpts edited by Roanoke for brevity and clarity in relationship to Residents Against Wood Smoke Emission Particulates, a 501c3 nonprofit organization. On Thursday, the concentration of PM 2.5, or tiny particulate matter, in the air approached 450, which is 30 times higher than the World Health Authorities shutter schools, markets and parks for 4 days due to the toxic air. After tens of thousands fall ill. A wave of thick, toxic fog has enveloped Pakistan's Lahore city, causing tens of thousands of people to fall ill in one of the world's most polluted countries. Thousands fall ill in eastern Pakistan due to heavy smog, forcing closure of schools, markets, parks. ABC News. On Thursday, the concentration of PM 2.5, or tiny particulate matter, in the air approached 450, considered hazardous. Experts say the burning of thousands fall ill in eastern Pakistan due to heavy smog, forcing closure of schools, markets, parks. November 9, 2023. Lahore, Pakistan. AP. Toxic grey smog has sickened tens of thousands of people in Pakistan's cultural capital of Lahore, forcing authorities to shut schools, markets and parks for 4 days, officials said Thursday. The decision came after the country's second-largest city was repeatedly ranked the world's most polluted city. Doctors advised people to wear face masks and stay at home. Residents said many people were coughing and having breathing problems. Wearing of masks and staying at home are the two easiest solutions to avoid getting rushed to hospitals with respiratory-related diseases, infections in eyes and skin diseases, said Salman Kazmi, a doctor at Lahore's main Mayo Hospital, where thousands of people were treated for such ailments this week. On Thursday, the concentration of PM2.5, or tiny particulate matter, in the air approached 450, considered hazardous. Experts say the burning of crop residue at the start of the winter wheat planting season is a key cause of the pollution. Lahore was once known as the City of Gardens, which were ubiquitous during the Mughal era of the 16th to 19th centuries. But rapid urbanization and surging population growth have left little room for greenery in the city. PM2.5 and wildfire smoke stays in floors and walls. Wildfire smoke leaves harmful gases in floors and walls. Air purifiers aren't enough. The Good Men Project. In CASA, we studied what happens when pollutants and chemicals get inside our homes, pesticides, smog and even wood smoke. CSU Natural Sciences.